Combat sports fans, welcome back to the Basement Breakdown. I just got back from a pretty fun workout. On a Sunday night, I went to my powerlifting gym, which is called MYM, and I haven't recently been able to go because they were doing renovations, and they moved gyms to upscale. I believe now they are the largest gym in the greater Toronto area that is catered to powerlifting, so that's pretty cool. Being a part of that gym when it was a lot smaller and seeing it to what it is now, it's pretty cool, and I love training there, so it's been pretty great. I'll put up a clip or two of that. Yeah. Besides that, though, we had a very successful weekend for UFC Fight Night. Kevin Vallejos versus Josh Emmett. We only got one fight wrong on the evening, and I believe that was Umar Sy versus Ion Cutelaba. And that was one where I was, worried about it. And even on my bet slip thing, or the short that when I put out shorts, I put out a picture of the card with check marks on the fighters that I think will win. I put a little caution sign above Umar Sy and Ion because I thought this was possible, and Umar Sy looked like shit. Let's get into it. All right, we started off in the women's strawweight division, Pierre Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes, and it basically went how I thought it would go. Sam Hughes, she's always there for a fight, but Pierre Rodriguez looked really good on the feet and was able to box her up. Sam Hughes looked pretty damaged in the face, and that fight went as projected. And honestly, guys, it was a really fun card. I was talking a lot of shit about just a lot of nothingness. A lot of fights on the card were not I didn't see them, and I wasn't wow, these are going to be crazy. But it ended up being a really fun card. There was a lot of finishes. There was a lot of really good fights. And I guess that's expected when there's not a lot of expectation. Those cards seem to overperform in those situations. And this was definitely one of those. Luan Lacerda versus Hector Souza. We got that right. Hector Souza ended up getting the decision win, which I thought was completely correct. Luan Lacerda had his moments, but overall, Hector Souza enforced his game plan and, just kind of breezed through that. I don't know if it was MMA Guru or perhaps Bedtime MMA that had Lacerda. I'm going to say Bedtime had Lacerda, but I always like to watch some of the main guys' picks after the cards just to see how that I did in comparison to them, and we've been doing pretty well. Anyways, Beatriz Mesquita versus Montserrat Rendon. This fight was a huge mismatch. Mesquita ended up submitting Montserrat Rendon in the first round very easily. Not much of a not many issues on the part of Beatriz Mesquita. I was kind of proud of this prediction. Eric Anders fought Brad Tavares, and even for this fight, that was expected to be pretty shit. It was somewhat entertaining. Brad Tavares won the second round. Eric Anders won the first round. They traded knockdowns. Eric Anders in the first round. Brad Tavares almost had Eric out in the second. Third round was not a lot happening. Eric Anders had a lot of top control. Took down Brad Tavares. Just kind of muscled Brad Tavares for a very large portion of the fight, and after he won the decision, rightfully so, he retired, and I think that was the right move for Eric. He was on a 3-fight win streak against the likes of Chris Weidman, somebody else, and now Brad Tavares, who's still in the UFC. All best wishes to Eric Anders. He has a very successful gym, and he can probably make a living without his UFC job. So yeah, all the best to him. Good win. We move up. Bellagio Key versus Manuel Souza. Some people, this was a risky fight, I feel like. I said in my prediction that, it could be a round apiece going into the third, and they could trade knockdowns. Like, this could be pretty crazy. And crazy it was. Like, it was a fucking wild fight. Manuel Souza in the first round was doing well. Bellagio Key, was able to land hard towards the end of the first. Second was pretty hectic. First Souza, first round was Souza, second was Oki. Like, they, traded knockdowns. Bellagio Key's always able to get in these, like, firefights, which is what I said when doing the prediction. But, like, his fight IQ isn't always the best, and, that was very evident. And Manuel Souza, it was looking like a really close fight in the third round, and Manuel Souza got that, like, second wind, and he started to pick things up, and, he found the KO over Bellagio Key, and it was pretty nice. So, welcome to the UFC, Manuel Souza. He looked very good on the Contender Series, and I feel bad for Bellagio Key. He's, like, in some very fun fights, and honestly, like, he's got some fucking hands and a good chin too, but we move up. We were on a bit of a streak here. What was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It took us a while until we got anything wrong. I don't feel like these fights were that hard to predict, to be honest with you. Maybe a couple of them. This next one was pretty impressive. Elijah Smith versus Yusu Young. Definitely going to watch out for Elijah Smith. Very good prospect. He dropped the first round to Yusu Young, who, was able to control Elijah Smith for a lot of the round and, get on his back and stuff. And, Elijah Smith did what he needed to do in order to get out of those positions in the first round. So, it is what it is. But going into the second, Elijah Smith just looked like he, really knew what he wanted to do in the second round, and he was able to find the submission over Yusu Young, and it was very, very, very impressive, to say the least. What else can I really say about that? Sorry about that. Elijah Smith looked very good in that fight. Good stepping stone. Yusu Young, he looked good against Long Zhao. Who does that to Long Zhao? Elijah Smith was able to submit him in the second round pretty quick. Got the choke, and large applause. You can hear everything in the Apex, which I really like sometimes. A lot of cheers, definitely, on these cards. You can hear a lot of people's families, which is cool. So Elijah Smith's family was definitely happy to see him win, and it was a good moment for the young prospect. We move up the card. Steven Asplund and Vitor Petrino. I picked Vitor Petrino. I know some people picked Steven Asplund. I thought it was a little too soon for Asplund, and honestly, I feel kind of bad for him. But it was a good fight. Vitor Petrino bloodied up Steven Asplund's left eye, right under it, cut it pretty bad. I thought that Vitor Petrino was able to win the first round. Second, Asplund had Vitor Petrino in a lot of trouble. Honestly, Asplund had Vitor Petrino in a lot of trouble at certain points in the fight, and Vitor Petrino decided to disengage, kind of circle around the octagon. But they both kind of got tired, so it wasn't like Asplund was able to push the pace when he wasn't really cutting off Vitor Petrino and doing things that perhaps he should have, but he was tired. They were both tired, and it was a really fun fight. They were both kind of, slugging it out. I did think Vitor Petrino won the decision, and I kicked the shit out of Steven Asplund's leg. He was hobbling out of there. I'm pretty sure there's a picture of Asplund and Harry Hardwick together after the whole ordeal in the hospital. So, I'm sure Steven Asplund will be back. That was a really tough fight for your first fight, in the UFC, and good showing. I feel like his stock raises. I really liked his interview for Media Week, and we move up. Chris Curtis got absolutely khabibed by Mitzabek Orablai. Most takedowns in the 170-pound division. He just, khabibed him. Just kept ragdolling him, throwing him down, doing really whatever he wanted to Chris Curtis for 3 rounds on the ground. So, very impressive win for Mitzabek Orablai, a guy who's fought at 155 pounds for a couple fights. Lost to Mateusz Rebecki, which I believe is his only loss in the UFC at 155 pounds. He's moved up to 170. He's found a lot of success. Chris Curtis, former middleweight. He's been in a lot of fights. He looked very lean, and he looked very healthy going into this fight. So, good win for Mitzabek Orablai, and that was the preliminary feature fight, which was probably the most boring on the card, if I'm being honest with you. There might be one more, but co-main was not too interesting, but I was happy because I won some money. I'll throw up some of my bet slips that I won on the night, just so you guys can see. All right. Main card, Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva. Very close fight. On the verdict scorecards, round 1 and 2 went to Bruno Silva, with the second round being a lot closer. Round 3, Charles Johnson was, kind of doing his thing and won that round pretty definitively. I thought the first and second were also kind of close, to be honest with you. I believe I thought that Charles Johnson, he had the striking advantage in both the first and the second round, I believe, too. Bruno Silva was landing the more damaging shots, I feel, in the first round. Now, the second was very close as well. It was just kind of like Bruno Silva was landing a lot more power, and I felt like Charles Johnson was landing a lot of volume. Not that he wasn't landing straight on him, but he had a lot of body kicks, using the legs more. Kind of all around. Instead, Bruno Silva was mostly just headhunting and looking for the finish, it seemed like. But impressive performance from Charles Johnson. He's looked a little gun shy, which is kind of natural after your last. He got knocked out really badly by Alex Perez, so it's good to see him back in the win column. Bruno Silva's a good competitor. He's always in good fights. He's coming off of an upset win against whoever the hell he won against, Hyung Sung Park or whatever. So there's that. And it was still a fun fight. We move up. Cutelaba, as I said earlier, this was the one fight I got wrong. He was able to submit Umar Sy very close to the end of the first round. Umar Sy just looked like shit from the get-go, and this was one where I was scared, and proved to be right. Cutelaba looks jacked, he's always coming in great shape, but I don't know, just Umar Sy just didn't look particularly like I thought he would, so there's not really much I can say about that fight, but I don't think I'll be betting on Umar Sy if he is to fight again in the UFC. We move up to Marwan Rahiki versus Harry Hardwick. Bedtime MMA versus MMA Guru. I went with Marwan Rahiki because what I saw from him was just, I don't know, I thought he just looked better on the feet than Harry Hardwick has looked on the feet. And it was a really good fight. I believe it won fight of the night. Rahiki broke Harry Hardwick's jaw in the second round, and then the corner had to call it. And it was a banger of a fight. Harry Hardwick's definitely got a chin on him. I don't know how he absorbed some of those head kicks, elbows. It was just fucking ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, he landed some of his own shots, more so in the first round. The second round was a little, more of the Marwan Rahiki show. But really fun fight. Harry Hardwick, I don't feel like he's particularly good, and he's just kind of a character. I feel like you could give him maybe one more fight in the UFC. If you're going to give Jose Medina 4 or 5 shots at a fight, then you could give Harry Hardwick realistically another shot or two, honestly. He's fun, and I'd watch him fight someone else. He's just not quality. Next, we move on to Jose Delgado versus Andre Fili. Jose Delgado has been robbed in a couple fights. And yeah, like I was really hoping he would win this fight, and he did. He thought it would be easy work against Andre Fili, but Andre Fili looked good at the beginning of the fight. He looked very good. He took the first round off Jose Delgado 100%. Was touching him up. Was looking really good. Good movement, looking fast. And second round, Jose Delgado was able to pick it up a little bit, outstrike Andre Fili, and that took them into the third round. Jose Delgado basically was doing his thing throughout the round. It was very close, and in the last 15 seconds, Andre Fili was on top of Jose Delgado, not really landing too much ground and pound, but it wasn't a great look for the judges. If you would have given the fight to Andre Fili, I wouldn't have been upset, but I thought they made the right decision, considering I thought that Jose Delgado was winning a majority of that round, the third round. So yeah, good fight, very fun, and I thought they made the right decision giving it to Jose Delgado. We move up to the co-main event of the evening, Amanda Lemos and Julian Roberson. I had both Delgado and Roberson as locks, which both hit. I was a little worried about this one too. Both these people dropped their first rounds in their fights. Amanda Lemos was, kind of having her way with Julian in the first round, and it's just very evident how deficient Jillian is in the striking. Now, she's looked better in some of her recent matches against her opponents, but Amanda Lemos is known for her striking, and it just didn't really look good in the first round for Robertson. I was worried about my pick, and she just proceeded to kind of take her down. Robertson was taking down Amanda Lemos round number 2 and 3, and just kind of held her there, landed some ground and pound. And she was looking for submissions, and just kind of dominated her on the ground and was able to win round number 2 and 3. And that's kind of the way the fight went. There was a good 30 seconds, I think, at the end of the third round where they were up, and, Jillian Robertson isn't really able to compete with Amanda Lemos on the feet, so Amanda lands a couple punches at the end, but it's not enough to thwart the control time that Robertson had. So I thought, a good win from Jillian Robertson. Very boring. Called out the champ in Mackenzie Dern. I'm in strawweight. I'm sure Mackenzie Dern will be fighting Zhang Wei Li at some point in a rematch for their fight and maybe after. But Jillian's on a very good win streak, so she'll definitely fight for a title sometime soon. And we get to the main event. Boy, was I not wrong, but I was talking shit about when Ilya fought Josh Emmett. He was less of a favorite than Kevin Vallejos was against Josh Emmett. And, Kevin Vallejos knocked out Josh Emmett, and Ilya Topuria did not. So, yeah. That was part of one of my parlays for Kevin Vallejos versus Josh Emmett not to go the distance, and obviously Kevin Vallejos to win. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Josh Emmett. That was a bad knockout, but he's 42 years old. He's been submitted by Yair Rodriguez, and he took a year off of his last fight. His last one was against Bryce Mitchell, who's, not great. I love Josh Emmett, and I wish nothing but the best for him, but, not a good look, considering he got knocked out in the first round, and, he's known for his toughness, so perhaps his chin is deteriorating. But I think it also speaks to Kevin Vallejos. He looked fucking excellent in that fight, and, you have a lot of guys who are going to be barking down the tree, looking at fighting Kevin Vallejos, who's now finding himself in the top 10 for the rankings. So there's a lot of fun fights for him. He's got that fight with Gene Silva, and, you could run that back. Kevin Vallejos is getting up there. Gene Silva might be fighting for a title, but, always a matchup to consider for the future. And, guy hits hard. That was a fucking fun card. We've got Movsar Evelev versus Lerone Murphy this week, and I will have my editor in for that. So stay tuned, guys. Hope you enjoyed my post card breakdown. I know I don't do it for every card, but I'll start to do it more. We'll see you this week. Basement Breakdown out.